might get a billboard for the UFC here and there. There was tour buses with Conor McGregor's face all over them.
He got lucky those first 2 or 3 fights. Conor was a hell of a showman. He's a hell of a talker. But he was never going to be a world champion.
A huge push by the UFC to create this star.
I usually slap people. It works really good.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the YB Normal Show with the YB Normal Boys here in studio. We got Mr. Joe Schilling. What's up, Joe?
What's up?
We got Petey Pablo, baby. What's up, Petey?
What's happening, guys?
Good. And special guest today, world champion UFC, Tim Sylvia. Just an absolute honor and privilege, man, to have you on the show. And look forward to catching up with you, pal, and let us know what's going on with you.
Well, appreciate you having me, man, on a beautiful Friday afternoon.
Where are you at, Tim?
Iowa, baby. Motherland. We don't worry about gay ass Teslas and all the rainbow warriors running around.
God's country.
God's country. That's great.
Hey, I know you're a big hunter. You do a lot of your hunting there. You travel around.
I do most of my hunting here. I try to stay close to the Midwest. What's great about being in Iowa and in the spot that I live in, I'm 2 hours from Wisconsin, 2 hours from Missouri, 6 hours to Nebraska, 6 hours to Kansas. So I hunt a lot of different places. Illinois is only 30 minutes. So yeah, I'm very well located for hunting, and Iowa has the best whitetail hunting in the United States. So
nice. Well, I guess I'll jump right into it. Tim, when you're 6'8", right?
Yes, sir.
When did you hit that growth spurt? My son, I have 2 boys, and Jax is a aspiring young fighter, and my oldest son's tapped out around 5'9". I'm 6'3", and I'm just curious, when did you hit 6'8"?
Man, I was abnormal. I was 5'8" my sophomore year in high school. And then I grew a couple inches over that year when I became a junior. Into junior, I think not quite 6 foot, and grew a couple inches. Then over the summer, I entered my senior year at 6'4". Graduated at 6'6", and grew 2 more inches after I graduated.
Wow.
Jeez.
That is exactly what I want to hear. That's exactly what I want to hear.
I was a late bloomer. I was bullied, picked on. It was awful, but it gave me a chip on the shoulder and an ego to where I made sure I found every one of those bullies once I was 6'8", and I got my revenge on those fuckers.
I bet you did.
Sounds like you bloomed and bloomed again. Dang, dude.
I did. It was crazy.
Well, that kind of killed my next question, because I was thinking you got it there in high school, and I'm just kind of figuring, how did you end up fighting when? Well, obviously you just told me, but I was thinking every sports coach in your high school was probably coming at you, wanting you to play. At that point,
it was weird because, like I said, I wrestled. I was wrestling, all 4 years. Didn't play any sports besides just wrestling. I did wrestling, boxing, karate, all that stuff. And then after I graduated, I started playing semi-pro basketball. Nothing serious, we win a few $100, $1,000 in big tournaments and stuff like that. And I was fighting a lot playing basketball, so I did that for a couple of years. And then I went to a tryout for football. Never played before in my life. And I walked on, and they said, "We want you. You ever played?" I'm like, "Nope." They go, "Well, we can't teach 6'8", but we can teach you how to play football." So I was fighting all the time doing that, and I was like, "Man, I gotta find something else to do because I keep getting in trouble fighting."
You started wrestling, and I saw you did taekwondo, I think, when you were a kid. You said in another interview,
or just regular karate.
Okay.
Yeah.
So did your technique evolve and change? I mean, wrestling and being an average size guy must have been one game, and then as you got older, and you got bigger, it must have been a big advantage.
Game changer.
When I wrestled I had a lot of friends that wrestled, and I wouldn't get bullied as bad because they would all stick up for me. Right. I wasn't really any good. I became the best wrestler when I moved to Iowa, and Pat knew that I had a good stand-up game, so he put me over to the Augustana College and made me work out with the college wrestlers for all wrestling season. And that really developed my wrestling skills and basically just developed my takedown defense.
Awesome. Yeah, I was a big fan of you coming up, and I always thought, I would see you and I'm like, oh, he's going to be big. And you know, everybody in that period was kind of a haymaker, like go for it guy. But you were really technical, keeping distance and stuff. I learned a lot from watching your style. And I think, that makes a lot of sense as you got older. But you were doing striking and boxing and fighting all as a youngster, huh?
Yeah, I think boxing helped me a lot with keeping, you know, the traditional punches, the straight punches, you know, not the haymakers and stuff. And I always strived on being in the best shape I could be whenever I fought someone. So, and I threw a lot of hands. So it was, you know, punches and bunches. You know how it goes. You're a great striker. You never try to knock anybody out, but it just happens with the right angle. And after you land 3 or 4 or 5, the next one just comes hard naturally. You don't even try, you know?
Yeah, but that shit also helps when you're 6'8", dude. I mean,
oh, absolutely.
For sure.
I mean, bro, law just
like,
physics. Dude.
He doesn't have to try to knock you out of fucking 6'8" fucking heavyweight, bro.
What a line. Oh, that just happened. Sorry.
Yeah, this exactly. Like, who is messing with this guy, dude? Like, hey.
It's literally, I can honestly tell you, not one UFC fight. Every time, like when I any fight alone, anytime I ever dropped anybody, it's like, oh wow, I'm surprised you went down from that.
Fuck, not us, not the regular Joe.
I had a boxing coach who used to talk about that and call it the dead hand. And for me, same thing. It's like the shot you didn't even think of. It was like just happened or whatever. You didn't even really feel it. And that's the one that, you know, sparks them. But the other ones where you're fucking trying to get him, it just doesn't seem to want to die.
You get more tired that way too.
For sure, 100%.
I think the only time I ever threw anything with bad intentions was Trey telling me when I kicked him in the head. I was like, if I land this thing, he's going to sleep.
Oh, bro, I was watching that on the way up here. It was like he's like punted a football and they caught him right on the thing and then he just died. Just dead. Dude. That was a sick highlight.
They threw him out of the cage on a stretcher, man. I was like, oh shit, hope I didn't kill someone.
Well, then the other one I really liked was the Arlovski fight where he had dropped you, you got up, and you weren't quite all there, and he tried to finish you, and you caught him with that uppercut, slept him too. I mean, that was a great shot.
Man, I love that you just said slept him. That's the whole theory behind the clothing line, get slept.
You have a whole what?
That's my clothing line. Getslept.com, you know, Slept Athletics. You just said it. I mean, it's perfect.
Oh, yeah. Awesome. Wow. There you go.
Sounds like it hurts too.
It doesn't actually. When you get knocked out, it don't hurt at all. You don't feel a thing.
Yeah, no. Yeah, no.
Hey, speaking of getting slapped, you did the slap fight and you won. You knocked the guy out in 5 rounds. Now, is that the same night I was doing my daytime job? And didn't you come to the show still with like your knees taped, a little bit of face was swollen?
And I won by decision, so we went fucking 12 rounds. And he was a cheating, dirty bastard. His first shot, he clubbed me and dropped me. So I with my attitude, I was pissed off and having ego. I was like, I'm going to kill this dude. And I didn't. I was still kind of wobbled. I should have just said, no, I'm not going. I would have won. But yeah, I didn't even know you guys were in town. You were 45 minutes away from me. The wife was like, Aaron's here. So I immediately texted you and I kept my shorts, kept my knee braces on, didn't shower, just came straight to the show.
Fuck yeah.
That's some savage type shit. Like, hey, by the way, I just went 12 rounds in this shit. I didn't even know you could go 12 rounds in slap boxing.
Hey, listen, to be honest here, I don't know if it was the left side or the right side, but one side was fucking enormous.
It was the left side.
He remembers vaguely.
That's exactly. It still stings a little.
We're both right-handed, so it was definitely my left side.
What was the dude's name?
Grizzly.
Grizzly was the dude's name.
Yeah, he just
maniac and the Grizzly.
Hey, I get a question too. Like, there's so many fights or fight companies and different things. Like you're announcing the Cage Aggression this weekend. Is there so many different places to fight competitively because there's a lot of fighters, or is it because the appetite for fans to watch people beat the fuck out of each other is big?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Is there a violence factor where people just want to see violence? Because
that's just the human nature. Yeah, I mean, when I watch reels, I like watching people get fucked up.
Right. Yeah, I guess you're right. Downstairs, I mean, it's controlled violence, but it's buddy.
Yeah,
it's a lot.
I mean, we've always had a big fight community here in the Midwest and Iowa and stuff. So yeah, this is Cage Aggression. So They do a dope, like 2-night event. Tonight, James Pulver's announcing. I'll be ringside with him, and then tomorrow I'm announcing. He does that streaming stuff for the UFC, so he'll be streaming on something, I don't know, for the fights tomorrow for the UFC event.
Awesome. Check that out.
Yeah, no, that's it. You know what's crazy? You just said that. You're like, because it sounds like, you know, obviously, Tim, you know, getting a little older, becoming more adventurous, obviously keeping your hunting obviously close and dear to your heart, but kind of jumping in these new ventures that you're doing right now. That's got to be obviously exciting for you. You know, I know we talked about a little earlier off camera, just kind of what's in store for you, what you're looking at. We talked about, you know, we got to keep our hands on everything nowadays because it's so fiscal out there, you know, with just the world and the economy. It's tough to kind of put your finger on that presence and to make something, you know, great of it, or have the opportunity to make anything at all, you know, at this point in the game. So with you jumping in these new ventures, you know, I think it's exciting for you. It's got to be just overwhelming with the stuff you've done in your past fights and now your future, you know, the horizon. It just looks bright for you, man. So I know this much, dude. When you're hanging out with dudes at Grizzly, like name Grizzly, bro, and you're your age, I'm out. Period. You know what I mean? That's just
Grizzly
what it is
Bear,
for me.
and then, well, how did that change? When did that change from the Grizzly Bear to the Maniac?
My first fight in UFC, it was a Grizzly Bear, and then Rico asked to fight me, and Dana called me, and he's like, "Hey, what do you think about changing your name to the Maniac, but spell it Maineiac?" I go, "I absolutely love that." I go, but there was, you know, as you know, Dana spent a lot of time in Maine. And I'm like, as you know, there was a flight group in the Bangor area that was called the Maniacs. As I didn't really want to copy him. He's like, "Fuck them." He goes, I love it. I said, "Okay, well, I love it too. If you don't think it's corny to change my nickname in the beginning of my career or whatever, then I'm for it." So yeah, we changed it when I fought Rico.
Yeah, I think they're both great. The fucking Grizzly Bear fucking definitely fits.
I'm a big Grizzly Bear fan myself, so.
Yeah, right on.
I've never had not one nickname that was scary to nobody.
No? What nickname have you got? What nicknames are we talking about? Have you ever had any nicknames?
Well, it depends on who you ask that question to.
I have a nickname for everybody that's little. I just call you Fluffy.
That's fucked up. Hey, it's real simple, Tim, from here to say, I'll whoop your ass, but I'm taking that shit back right now, bro. I ain't letting you slap the shit out of me.
I'll see you someday.
Exactly.
Safe on the internet.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Internet.
Wait a minute. Have you called me Fluffy?
Of course.
You called me Fluffy at the show, didn't you?
Many times.
Come on.
That's awesome.
So Tim, you were part of the team that was running shit in the UFC when I was coming up. When I first was introduced to the UFC and so really started paying attention, the Miltich team was nuts, and you had Matt Hughes, Robbie Lawler, like a whole list of guys. What was that like in that time period for you?
Because there's some bias, I'm gonna say it's the best time of MMA in the UFC.
I agree.
Any fans I ever talked to, they miss those times. You know, the UFC, I mean, as anything, as things get bigger and things grow, you know, things happen and they just get oversaturated. As you know, they're having fights every week, and it's just had to pick favorite fighters. And, you know, back even when I was a fan, back in like 98 and 99, when I was just training, wasn't even fighting professionally, we would all be so excited about the prides in the UFCs. You know, where it kind of worked out good because they were every other month, but kind of Pride did theirs, like say in January. Then in February, UFC did, and then, you know, so it worked out good. Once a month, we'd have fights, 2 different organizations, and it was like $20 or $30 to get them. So you 5 or 6 guys, you throw down $10 a piece, you get a couple pizzas, and I drank back then, so we got some beer, and we watched the fights, man. It was great. The only problem is back in Maine, when we used to do that, they would get over, and then we'd go to the bars and we'd get in fights because we'd be all checked out.
This is like my childhood right now. He's talking about, I swear.
Just got to pick, you know, like when a UFC event happened back then, you knew all 14 fighters. Say there was 7 fights, you knew all of them, and it's like it was hard to pick a favorite and who was gonna, you know, it was just awesome. It was easy for the fans to relate to and stuff. And now I still watch MMA. I love MMA. It's a great sport. I love kickboxing and stuff, but it's hard to keep up, man. That's like I don't know who anybody is, and
that's kind of, you know, I think we're all, even as children, we grew up, you know, you got your favorite team, your favorite whatever you want to do. Like I'm a 49er fan, you got Dodger fans. And the thing is it seems like with UFC, when it first started, like you knew the guys, like you were saying, those 14 guys, you had a favorite guy. You're like, win, lose,
and not just a favorite guy, but you look forward to all 7 fights.
Right, absolutely.
When the UFC happens, maybe the co-main event and the main event, and that's it. Like I watched one the other night. I didn't know anybody. I've heard of a couple guys that were fighting the main event, and they were in the top 10. And I'm like, I'm getting older. It's getting past me. I don't know.
Right, and that's the kind of what I was alluding to. Is it's like you had these favorite guys, and you got to follow their career so closely, and it's now as soon as your guy's like, he's on top of the world, and you're like, man, he takes one loss. Next thing you know, there's 30 guys coming down the line. You're like, shit, what happened to my guy? He loses one time out of 10 years or 5 years. It's like there's no more investing into the fighter for the totality of their career. It's like, who's hot right now? Get it going.
Honestly, I mean, the UFC never did a great job promoting fighters unless you were Chuck Liddell. But I love Chuck. He was a great friend of mine. But him and Dana White were best buds, and they promoted the shit out of Chuck. But pretty much anybody else they didn't. They just promoted the brand UFC. So it's hard for fighters to do stuff afterwards and create their own brands when that stuff like that happens. And nowadays, shit with the whole sponsorship and stuff like that, it's so much harder for the guys.
Did Conor McGregor make himself, or did the UFC help?
Or
was it because he was in the UFC and they were the biggest deal?
Oh, it's because he was in the UFC. And then, I mean, Conor's a hell of a showman. He's a hell of a talker. And I'm going to be, people might agree with me or disagree, but he got lucky those first 2 or 3 fights. He should have never beat Chad Mendes. He would have never beat Jose Aldo if he didn't get in his head. He beats Jose 1 out of 100 times. But and then Eddie Alvarez, I don't know what the fuck Eddie was doing. He decided to strike with him instead of wrestling. So those 3 fights really should have never went his way, but they did. So congratulate him for doing that. And the way he talked, he predicted them, and they all just fell on his lap, and he just became the biggest.
He brought these magical moments that, like you said, shouldn't have happened, and that was, I think all of us, especially Americans, like we watched like the Mighty Ducks, or like you name any one of the movies we all grew up on. We got addicted. Rocky, for we get addicted to this
feel good success story.
It's like a feel good success story, but like this underdog's gonna make it, or this magical moment's gonna happen. Right. And for Conor, you can say what you want about him, but like when it's fight night and it's go time, he makes magic happen. And how those cards played out to make it happen is another story. But it's hard to argue with that,
And the value he brought to the UFC after rebranding himself is fucking crazy.
Well, the other side of that coin is I remember when he was getting ready to fight Aldo, and in LA, you might get a billboard for the UFC here and there. And I remember for that fight specifically, there was tour buses with Conor McGregor's face all over them. So there was definitely a huge push by the UFC to create this star. And then Conor just happened to be the guy that would fucking step up to the plate and those knockouts, like the Aldo knockout was insane. And like the Eddie Alvarez knockout was like fucking no way he did it again. It's like you can't even hate on him for it. It's crazy.
It's like the UFC was like, hey, bud, we're laying this out for you. All you got to do is the right thing and make it happen. And he did. When you get on a stage like that and you got a chance to make it happen, there's 2 types of people, I guess. One that shits the pot and one that fucking kills.
There's 2 types of people, and then there's like one little half a tiny percent of people that can do that at that moment, And then, the Nate fight was another magical moment because everyone now had bought into the Conor thing, and he's always going to beat Nate. And Nate's right there. I'm not surprised, motherfucker. It's another magical moment, and that's the stuff that people are addicted to. That's what I'm addicted to.
Let's use that fight for example. Love Nate Diaz. He's a friend of mine. He's a great fighter, but he was never going to be a world champion. He's a gatekeeper. At best, a B-level fighter, and he fucking whooped Conor's ass, and I think the second fight he did too. They just gave it to Conor. So, so you compare Diaz to Aldo and Chad Mendes and Alvarez, he's not as good as those guys. He never became a world champion or anything like that. So I think that just kind of shows where Conor really was at his level. But styles make fights too, I guess, you know. So
yeah, I mean, and that kind of goes back to the push too, because they could make an argument. If you look at one thing that like drives me crazy is people talk about the, which I'm probably setting myself up because I can't answer this question, but the Mount Rushmore of the UFC, like who would be your 4 guys or whatever, and everybody puts Khabib on there, and I'm like, if you put Khabib's, look at Khabib's record and the names he fought, and then you look at the record of Nate Diaz and the names that he's fought, like it's not even close to the same. Or 100 other guys I could mention, right. You know what I mean? Michael Johnson, for example. Like there's a lot of guys that maybe their record doesn't show their caliber or whatever, but their resume speaks for itself. You know what I mean? And it just drives me crazy.
You look at Couture's record. I mean, his record's absolutely horrible. But yep. I mean, he rose to an occasion many and many times. One of them being me, the fucker. And then the Chuck the first time, and then Pedro Hizo the second time. And it's just whenever the shit was on the line, he rose to the occasion. But I don't even know what Randy's is. You guys might have access to look it up, or whatever. But it's not really a good record.
But that also goes back to like what we were talking about earlier about. When it was going back to that, you had 14 guys that were, you're fighting, in that weight class. And it was like, fuck, there was always constantly like, part 2 or part 3 to these fights because the trilogies, they were turning into trilogies. You don't have that shit now because there's tons of guys. So yeah, the guys, his record might have been bad, but who did he fight? I don't know, 7 world champions? Holy shit. These dudes aren't fighting dudes like that no more. And that's just period.
Joe, who's your Mount Rushmore?
Man, that's a tough one. That's what I said. I set myself up.
It's tough for me too.
Yeah,
I think
for me personally,
yeah.
You can go first.
I'm going last, dude, so I can disagree.
I got Fedor, no doubt about it. John Jones, Anderson Silva, and Mighty Mouse.
Yep. Those,
fuck, dude, that's pretty
hard to argue that. You know what I mean?
It is.
Dana wants to talk shit about Fedor not being UFC, but he beat all of us champions up.
And Fedor was a monster.
And like Pride was I like the UFC. I think what they've done is incredible, but like it was not the same as Pride to me. Like I just loved Pride. It was like raw dog shit. It was so exciting. The rule set, I think, worked out a lot better for the fans.
I agree. Yeah.
Nick Diaz complained for a long time about the rule set and how it was going to eventually turn wrestlers into being dominant, and it's exactly what's happened.
All the Stackians, whatever you want to call them, wherever Khabib's from. I don't know. I think they're kind of. I know that they're kind of ruining the UFC. They're just making it. I know it's MMA, it's mixed martial arts, so, you gotta, someone takes you down, you gotta get up, and if you can't, then whatever. I don't know. I just don't like it. It's not, these wrestlers are ruining the sport, I feel. It's no longer MMA, it's like blanket you and just pitter-patter you, and they don't even try to finish fights. They just take them down and hold them down and grind on them.
But don't you feel like that kind of happened in boxing, though, too? Like, you remember the Hagler-Hearn shit where they would just beat each other to a pulp, and it was like, holy shit, this is real fighting. Then it became more the point-style fighting.
Mayweather is a perfect example of being a
right, exactly. It's like the same thing can happen to UFC where you had guys with 5-6 different talents in their repertoire, and they're going to get taken down by one, and it's going to turn into points fighting. That's not going to sell or put asses in the seats.
I think it's hard because ultimately it's a progression, right? Like just since you fought Tim, how many times did they change the rules and then change the scoring system and then change the whatever, And it's like now we're allowed 12 to 6 elbows, but like Pride had it right. You could knee to the head of the downed opponent. People weren't spinning to take the back to control. They were just, pin that motherfucker, drop a knee on him, stand up and kick him in the face. Now all of a sudden everybody's a stand-up guy.
Right. Yeah, you have to, bro.
The rule sets just keep changing because the bigger the sport becomes, the more money and opportunity and just fame people see of it, the more fighters want to join. And now they're like, well, what are we going to do with these 10,000 guys that we have? Let's do an undercard with 16 fights and then go into the 7 fights that anybody cares about or whatever the number is, And I think it's kind of easy for us to be on the outside and be like, well, this was wrong and that's wrong, but like it's a who knows where it's going to be when my son's fighting it.
That's what I'm saying. Is it going to be point system fighting?
Hopefully we can kick to the head and it's less wrestling based,
Yeah, I'm out of all that.
But like how many fights have we seen where the guys they're having a good fucking back and forth and they're like really showing, good stand-up fight, and then the one guy gets a shitty takedown that he does nothing with, and that guy wins the fight, you know? Now that's going to go on that guy's record, which is going to affect whether or not he makes Mount Rushmore. It's kind of weird to me, you know? That's...
So, Pete, who is your Mount Rushmore over there, buddy?
Who, me?
Yeah, you, Petey Pal.
I was just going to stamp Tim's. Just take the fucking easy way out and just stamp Tim.
Nobody wants to disagree with the grizzly bear.
The least resistance.
Listen, Fluffy, don't mess around, you know?
Hey, dude. Hey, speaking of Fluffy, since we're all Fluffies here, I love that, Tim. Appreciate that, pal. But, you know, let's talk about something, you know, some of the viewers may not know that we know. And you played kind of a scary character one time in a film, huh? Let's talk about that a little bit.
I'm guessing you're talking about Michael Myers?
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, I get to fall down 3 times.
You were in Michael Myers?
I was a stunt double.
Which one? Which movie?
Rob Zombie, the remake Rob Zombie did, but the part 2.
Sick.
I think Rob only did 2, but so the second one. They did all the filming out in California, and then they ran into some complications, and they were going to do some reshoots, but the reshoots were taking place in Connecticut. So the original stuntman couldn't make it. So they got out Douglas Crosby. Back in the day, he was involved in the UFC. He was doing all the scoring and stuff like that, and he had a hookup with all the movie producers and all that stuff. He was a stuntman himself and stuff, so he hooked up a lot of UFC fighters. I know that's how like me and Randy and Dan and all those guys got our movie things because of Douglas.
Nice. It's funny. I was just training with Eddie Bravo yesterday, and I do some stunt work now too. And he asked me how I got into it, and he brought up Douglas Crosby, and he's like, "Oh, did you get it from him?" And I was like, "No, I don't even know who that guy is." Yeah, Eddie had a whole story about it. It's just funny. And now the next day, Tim's got a story about the same guy.
That's crazy, cool. Dude. Pioneer, so shout out.
Yeah, small world.
That's just a crazy. I mean,
I don't even know if Douglas is still around. I know he's not judge anymore, which is too bad because now all the judges suck.
The rant of the world champion.
Who's the worst? who's the one ref you don't want when you're fighting, and who's the judge you're worried about?
I never really cared about judges. I always tried to finish shit. Ref, I never wanted Steve Mazzagatti. Oh my god, yeah. Steve was awful.
Yeah, he fucking me bad one time too, like real bad. It was real bad.
Did he cause you to lose the match, or does he just
Mazzagatti?
Yeah, what's his beef?
He's just not. I never thought he was any good. He would. A lot of guys would take more punishment than they had to.
That's
Brandon Vera was foot stomping me and then tripped me. I was down the ground. He kicked me in the head. I'm like, dude, seriously? I mean, luckily it didn't hurt me, but I don't even think he fucking stopped it.
Yeah, I had a Muay Thai fight for like a really big Muay Thai fight in Vegas, and the guy's like a clincher, and you know, in Muay Thai, there's clinching allowed, but if there's no action, you break it. And like Mazzagatti just lets this guy hang on me, and it was to the point where he wasn't doing anything, and it would get to the point where I would be like avoiding, and then I'd be like, you know, what's going on? And then I would get dumped, you know. And he did it the entire fight, and the guy was like, it was like he's just staring, but he's thinking about what he had for lunch, or he needs to walk his dog later. Like he wasn't at all in the match. That was a big fucking part of my life at that moment, you know?
Right. Well, no pun intended, but the dude's lost like an Easter egg. Huh?
Towards the end of my career, there was that girl that was the referee, and she had it's probably I don't know. I didn't know her name, but I always said
I'm gonna back you up on it. Go for it.
Okay, I'd always joke be like, "So what's with the long face?" Because she had a really long face. So that was always my joke. Like, so what's a long face, girl? But she was supposed to ref one of my fights or something. I'm like, no, she's not refing my fight.
Do you get to have say in who refs the fight?
Yeah, if you have concern with the commission, you voice your opinion to the commission at the weigh-ins. You can't go on. It has to be the day before, but you can. I mean, you only get one chance, or whatever. I think that's the one time I ever did it was her. I was like, she ain't refing my. She had no business even doing heavyweights. Neither does Steve Mazzagatti. You need the biggest ref they got to do heavyweights. You know, I mean,
totally. Yeah, how is she gonna stop that extra 4 shots from coming? You know,
not a shot, dude.
Not a chance. You know,
she gets slept too.
Yeah, I had a ref that made like a horrible call, and went to the commission and filed a complaint, tried to get it overturned, and that embarrassed the ref. And then he had everybody that knew me contacting me like, oh, you know, on his behalf.
Oh my God.
Then fast forward like 3 years later, I'm fighting in last man standing tournament for glory. And I'm going to fight, you know, 3 times in one night if I make it through this tournament. And that's going to be the ref for the first match that I had that happened to be the same fight that he had rep before. And I told him before I walked out, I was like, I sold like $15,000 worth of tickets. I'm not fucking fighting if this guy refs. And they're like, oh, you know, made a big deal out of it. But sure enough, they changed the ref. And I ended up with Big John, which was great.
That's awesome.
But yeah, that's a little bit of pull that we have. I mean, come fight night, it's I'm getting in this cage or I'm not. I'm not going to be doing it with that guy.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, the public, you would never know that can actually come down to a decision made by the commission and say, we don't want this ref or not. That's crazy to know.
Well, that's the other thing people don't realize.
I mean, that's how corrupt this shit is. It's like, now I'm thinking,
I don't know if it's corrupt, but they're humans, right? Like, that's a human referee and those are human judges. And if you said something that pissed off that judge or that human, that might be a personal thing that you got looking over your head, you know?
Right.
Yep, absolutely. People hold grudges. And not to mention, I mean, a lot of those people are jealous because they can't do what we do.
I've always felt like in the sport, I'm probably giving it trouble, but I always thought that the sport is a bunch of alpha males that are being controlled by betas. And it's like the managers, the promoters, everybody in charge, the camera people, everybody that's telling you when to get on the bus, when to get off the bus. Like none of those people could ever speak to me in the way that they're speaking to me or could speak to me. You know what I'm saying? And it reminds me of like when COVID was happening. It's like I go into a gas station without a mask on and some 400-pound fat girl is going to tell me I'm not healthy because I'm not wearing a mask. It's like, what point in your life did you ever think you could tell me a motherfucking thing?
I see. Thank God I lived in Iowa when that was all happening because our governor was a shit. Kim Reynolds. She's like, we're not abiding by Biden's fucking rules. We don't. If kids are going to go to school, they'll have to wear masks and stuff, but you don't have to wear a mask and you go to Walmart and stuff like that. It's up to you. It's like, if you're worried about, you know, getting sick, whatever, you can wear a mask, but if you don't want to, you don't have to, because we know it affects your breathing and all that. So,
bro, in California, they had kids in swim lessons with fucking paper masks on. Explain that shit.
Yeah. They probably still do. California's probably still doing that.
And these fucking parents, it's like, it kind of goes back to the same thing. It's like that obese person that was working at the gas station for whatever their money was may not be happy with their life, but for that 6 months or 3 weeks and fucking the curve is turned in for 2 years, that they all of a sudden had power over everyone else they hated their whole life. Dude,
Joe, I'm a fan of yours. I loved it when that guy flexed on you at the bar and you hit him with a 3-piece. But I think you and I are a lot alike because, you know, some of the stuff you're saying, I forgot where I was going to go with this.
COVID.
Just throwing shit at the wall.
I just know we're a lot alike because you were saying something and it's like exactly.
Yeah, I appreciate
Did it have anything to do with the overweight human working at the gas station during COVID? Did it have anything to do with that? Did that trigger something in your mind where maybe we're the same alphas and we couldn't stand for that nonsense?
I got it. No, I got it. And I bet Joe has dealt with this as well because I know I have a lot. The worst people in the world is the TSA people.
Oh God, bro. It's the fucking worst.
They're the worst. Like they're on the biggest power trip. They can't be cops, but they can be TSA agents. And oh my God, do they think?
Yeah, now everyone's talking about they're not paying the TSA agents. I'm like, fuck them. Like, fuck them to the moon and back, you know? But it's like, I'll go through the TSA and then like the button on my fly will be what goes off. And then it'll always be some zesty gay dude that's like, oh, sorry, I have to do this. And it's like, I hope you're enjoying it, motherfucker. I always make it really awkward for them, you know? Like, oh, this is great. Can I come back around for round 2? It's crazy.
Joe, you opt out every time. Opt out. Let's go.
Yeah.
I refuse to take my belt off. I'm like, no, I'm not taking my belt off. I'm not taking my watch off. Okay, so you got to first me. Go ahead. Walmart sillies.
Walmart sillies.
Walmart sillies.
Speaking of Walmart, I was there earlier today, and everybody has pajama pants on. Everybody.
Oh my God. Oh, where you're in New Jersey?
No, Western Massachusetts, Pittsfield, Massachusetts. If you want to see the end of Western civilization, walk in there midday on a Tuesday when most people are working, or at least dressed like t-shirt, jeans, hair brushed. No, sleeping pants, hoodie with a meatball stain, and really gross camo Crocs.
Dude, I just took myself there visually, and that sounds horrible.
It's it's that, but like you can't argue. It's a great store though. It's got everything you need. Like you can hate on Walmart, but your ass goes there for sure.
I do too.
It's a fucking great show. A great store.
Great. It is a show, bro. For real.
I run people over and everything.
Oh, dude, you took that Halloween shit a little too serious, bro.
Why?
I mean, I'm gonna run over everybody, bro. People, get out of the street when you see Tim dead.
Fucking grizzly
No,
bear.
with my shopping cart, just like they're going.
Oh, your shopping cart. You never know with you, dude. You said you're like Joe.
The guy's a menace in aisle 5.
Right.
Imagine like you're in fucking Walmart in your fucking pajamas and your mustard stained fucking wife beater or whatever. And you probably got 6 kids not listening to you, you're screaming or whatever. And here comes fucking 6'8" grizzly bear Tim Silva with a cart. Get out of the fucking way.
Yeah. Dude, like, Dad, man, that's a big human being. Like, holy smokes.
If they're getting run over, they deserve it at that point.
Dude.
Hell yeah.
100%er, man. Well, I'll tell you what, Tim, in closing you out here with us, it's been a privilege, honestly, as always, with you. And we definitely we appreciate you coming on. We want you to be able to like tell our viewers, buddy, where they can find you on your gear and how we can help promote your new brand, pal. We're real happy for you, buddy.
Yeah, the clothing is Get Slept. It's we honestly think and truly believe it's the next big combat sports brand. If we can get some decent investors or just keep grinding like the Tap Out Boys did. But I mean, it's just fitting. We're working with a lot of BKFC guys and stuff, which I love that sport, by the way. I wish that came out 20 years sooner. I would have done that instead.
Oh, man. That would have been great.
But yeah, getslept.com. And I guess you can follow me. I'm on all social media platforms. It's usually Tim Sylvia MMA1. I kind of stick mainly to my Instagram because I can post there and it goes to everything else. So I just post once instead of 5 times. But yeah, that's about it. My hunting show is Fit Squad Outdoors with Tim Sylvia. That's on the national TV on the Sportsman channel for the first 6 months of the year. And then the next 6 months, it goes to Wild TV in Canada. But season 10 is currently airing now. So they're doing that for 10 years.
Congratulations, buddy.
Thanks. Definitely what I love. That's the most favorite thing to do, but I do some construction on the side. I just got into credit card processing, which is going really good, and it's actually blowing up a lot quicker than I thought it was. So I've actually been focusing on that a lot lately. So
sick.
Well, good for you, buddy. Petey Pablo, you got anything in closing for the champ here?
Yeah, give him hell. Give him hell announcing those fights, man. It also must be, is it your first time or is it first time outside the ring and just...
I've done it a few times, and I did it last time they did it. I did it for I guess I'm an actual staple now for Cage Aggression. They do fights every 3 months, and I'm always going to do them on Saturdays, and Jens will always do them on Fridays, I guess.
Well, I went to the Cage Aggression site. Good luck. I hope they have some good fights. And
oh, cool. Thanks, man.
Thanks for your time, and I'll see you down the road at some point, I imagine.
Yeah. Does everybody know what you do for a living?
Possibly. I mean, I don't know if the back wall tells anybody, but it might give you an idea.
Yeah, I mean, you're basically Aaron Lewis's yes, sir.
Oh, Dad.
I don't know if I want to. Am I a better yes sir or fluffy? We'll take a poll.
I'm thinking, Pete, you and I we're gonna have to jump this sumbitch with a whole bunch more fluffies like us, buddy.
Tim, I've been a huge fan for a long time. It's been an absolute pleasure to get to know you.
Joe, man, I was excited to hear that you were going to be on here because I've been a fan of yours. Man, I love your style, and I've always really enjoyed watching. I liked you a lot in Bellator, so
I really appreciate that, Tim. Right now it's online, but I look forward to meeting you face to face one day and maybe hanging out for a little bit in the future.
Definitely, my favorite fight is still though the punk in the bar who flexed on you.
I'm sure you've done that a few times. You just didn't get caught on camera.
I have done it, but it's always been a shove or a slap. I've never three-pieced anybody that's done that. It was so good.
I assure you, if you were in my situation, you'd have done the same thing, right? For sure.
Probably, yeah. Well, I'm a little bit bigger than you, so I got to be a little bit more careful. So that's usually why I usually slap people, and it works really good because
I bet it does.
There's not a
really
chance.
loud, and people are like, "Oh shit."
That's awesome. Well, again, Tim, we appreciate it, buddy. Everybody here at the YB Normal Show. I want to thank, as always, Joe Schilling, Petey Pablo, Pete. Thanks again, pal. And Tim, be good, buddy. And we wish the best to you guys. Peace out. Love you. Be good.